Hey, it's Thursday, April, I don't know, 24th. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm CW, I'm in BTH&T. I'm going to forewarn you, I have a side effect of chemo. I'll try to time it out, but it's the hiccups. One of the things they give you to prevent nausea tends to bring this back up, literally. So anyway, today's episode is not brought to you by the hiccups, but by a request of one of Todd's friends, Phoebe. Phoebe? Yeah, Phoebe. She works in the bakery section. Cute little girl. Told Todd if you want to take her to the prom, you got to move her to the deli, though, because nothing does more damage than carbos. Sorry. Anyway, she brought up something, and why don't you do more royalty history? Well, it's boring. No, I'm kidding. There's a lot of royalty in it, and which kind of royalty? You know, Asian royalty, Japanese royalty, Mexican royalty, Spaniard royalty. Let's just start with English royalty because they're always so prom and primper. You know, with Prince Harry and what's her name, Merkel. You know, his son. Now they live here. His son could basically grow up if he's born here and become president. And George the Third would have to play the long game. Think about it. Anyway, so let's go back. English history. William the Conqueror. Oh, let's see. You all know him. He defeated Harold at the Battle of Hastings. Well, he was originally born in 1919, 1027. Todd, what century is that? The 11th century. He was illegitimate son of Robert the First, and he was nicknamed William the Bastard. And I'm going to take pretty much liberty with that all throughout. Either Billy or Willie the Bastard. Well, he was crowned after the battle King of England on Christmas Day, 1066, at Westminster Abbey. And it is said that he ran a pretty decent kingdom. You know, he was stern. Yeah, this is the guy that introduced beheading as a pretty much standard. We kind of want to have a short run on this. So, you know, thievery, off with his head. Lying about the queen, off with his head. So, yeah, he instituted that little practice in 1076. You gotta admit, kind of limit it, stop the old chaos theory. But that was the part about Billy the Bastard. Things changed. It's good to be the king. Mel Brooks said it 100 times, but William the Conqueror barely missed a meal. He rode ratherly. His waist was about the same size as England, quite rotund. Now, in 1087, while in France, they came across a French garrison and they attacked them. I'm trying to think. I want to say near Rouen. And they burnt part of the town down and they beat the garrison. And William the Conqueror was on his Steed, who apparently stumbled upon some embers from the town burning up, jolted the regularly hefty boy, Billy the Bastard, against the metal saddle horn. Kind of crushed most of his intestines. Owie. Well, it that this would generally be where most stories end, but it didn't. It was, his intestines were greatly ruptured, torn, split his organs. Took him days to die. But they managed to get him up. Remember, he's rotund, and got him back to Racine. And his body just basically killed itself. He died on September 9th, 1087. He was 59 years old. And like I said, that would normally be the story of William the Bastard, Billy the Bastard. His officers and attendants were kind of afraid about what happened as soon as they found out he died. So they were more concerned with their own holdings, property holdings. So they left. Later on, a second group of attendees basically took everything out of the royal household, including linens, weapons, probably vases, and basically left William on the floor, half naked. So I guess they took some furniture with them too. So this nice guy, a knight, he came in and he decided, okay, I'll I'll make arrangements for his funeral, and we'll move his body to Cannes. Oh yes. So they have a funeral process, and they're carrying the body of the rotund, but they have to put him down the street and go fight a fire. You can't make this stuff up. This is history. Why this never makes it into the books, I'll never know, because it's the fun part. Well, they put out the fire and they came back. Now keep in mind, it's September. It was unseasonably hot, not warm, hot in this region of France during this time. 11th century medicine kept up with 11th century, I don't know, embalming techniques, like there was none. So they got back on the road, and the bishops at the church, they had a sarcophagus made for William the Conqueror. Important side note. Um, it'll come to that. But first, if you know anything about our channel here, quite often, every now and then, some sort of bodily fluid seeps, probably a bad word there for that, comes into play in our history story. Ah, it's just for colorful inventions, stuff like that. But most of them are true. Yikes. Excuse me. No, I'm not drinking. This is really, they give you this stuff, compazine, to keep it down, and it just makes you hiccup a lot. So he was, due to the heat, and let's not forget they had to go put out a fire and left him out there in maybe near the fire. I don't know. He got kind of swollen on him. It was warm. So when they get him into Westminster, not Westminster, into the, the cathedral where the bishops had prepared the sarcophagus, well, the poor old boys, they forgot to do measurements. Guess who? Guess who was too big for his place of rest? Yep. So they had to bring in, these dainty little bishops. They couldn't squeeze him in. So they brought in the attendants. Uh, uh, and it was for such a special occasion for royalty. They put old Big Willie into the sarcophagus, but he just wouldn't fit. This is your last chance. Your warning. Mute, mute, mute. The attendants to the body forced uh, the royalty into the box, but he just used a little too much force. Pressing on his stomach, he basically exploded from the top up. I mean, not his head, but his intestines, pus, abscesses. Went all over the wall of the church. Never mind that. Got the bishops too. But the people who attended almost took the doors off the hinges trying to get out of it. Well, think about it. Here, you're burying your king, and all of a sudden the devil just, did like a predator, came out everywhere. But makes me want to think that they're trying to get away from the smells and the bodily fluids and the rotting flesh. Don't a couple of pieces of intestines. Like in most royal, you know, proceedings, you got to ask yourself: is there a luncheon provided? You had to know that was coming, right? Come on. Look, uh, my first day of, well, you see the side effect. My first day of chemo, I had a great deal of apprehension, but everyone I met, including some patients, were very supportive. And so I came through it fairly well. There was an episode where I was um, reading a book, because I still can do that. I got a lightheadedness and a little dizziness. But once I put my book down, it's like I was getting car sick reading a book. It went away. And after about 20 minutes, I was able to go back to my reading. Um, Things have changed. They load you up with a lot of Comprazine, Zofran, and this is what makes you hiccup, but it also keeps your nausea level way down. So that was the first part of the chemo, was all that stuff. And I'll probably go through that every time I go there. So it's 1 down, 11 to go. Now, tomorrow I'll go back about 2, and I have a pump on me still. It's been running since I left the center yesterday, and it will keep running until I get back. This is what's pumping through me now is one of the oldest drugs I use for chemo because it works. But I do feel better, but I was very apprehensive, but not so much anymore. Uh, I met their nurses, their staff, my doctor, my doctor's PA, and they're all bent on my recovery or my survival, this. I'm kind of happy. I'll be happy when I get rid of these hiccups. But who knows? This may be the thing where I start, timing my speech like Winston Churchill did to avoid that. But who knows? So I hope you enjoy that. Penelope, don't worry. I'm going to look at, there's plenty of other great things in royalty. Ivan the Terrible, his beard tax. What was it, Seti or Ramses? That was such a liar about his. Basically, he defeated the. I always get these mixed up. Assyrians or Hittites, all by himself because his army left him. Yeah, he got the Pinocchio Pinocchio Award of the ancient history. Spin. You could have sworn he was a Democrat. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Well, it was a hiccup. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Uh, if you like what, trust me, I will get better at this. And we do travel, we just haven't done so lately because of this. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate all your support, all your kind words. Carol, Charles, Ben, the support is much appreciative, and my family as well. So until next time, CW signing off. See ya.